Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Easy 8's Online Painting Club. My name's Danny, and for the next 2 hours, I'll be sitting here painting my miniatures live, while hopefully you join me to paint your miniatures too, and to collectively eliminate our big old piles of build-up of grey plastic and other such paraphernalia. If you like what we do here, I forgot what I was going to say. If you like what we do here on Easy 8, please do consider subscribing. We've got 192 subscribers, as pointed out by Jeff over there in the live chat already. What a phenomenal number. It goes up sometimes, it goes down sometimes, but we're just a gnat's foot away from 200, which is going to make me so happy. So if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. Just a very simple little button push means the world to me. Such a simple gesture from you. Share the word, tell a friend. I'll get it right one day, I'm sure. Tell a friend, get them to come along. Maybe they want to paint some miniatures. Maybe they want to get into the hobby. Maybe they're already into the hobby and they don't know about Easy 8 yet. Whatever you do, give it a thumbs up right now. Go on, I'll wait. Thanks very much. Every time you interact with the show, if you give a thumbs up, if you do a subscribe, if you leave a comment down there somewhere, it all affects the algorithm. All hail the algorithm. Because, you know, the algorithm is mysterious and it works in mysterious ways. So we need to make it work in our favour if we want our community to grow. But 192, and now it's going to be one of those days. 192 is a great number. So thank you very much for everyone who has subscribed so far. Anyway, let's move away from here. You don't just find us here on YouTube, by the way. You can find us on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. And if you want to come and have a chat with me afterwards, you can join me at the Easy 8 After Party on Discord. There's links to all of our platforms down there. Go and click on them and find out what we're all about. But don't do it right now because we're going to start painting some miniatures. I'd love to know what projects you're working on. I genuinely am. If you are working on something, do come along and tell me because I find it inspirational. I find it motivational. People send me messages all the time nowadays going like, oh, I haven't painted anything for ages until I came across your show and now I've painted XYZ. And that's fills me with warm, fuzzy feelings because I'm terrible for it. I'm terrible for not painting things. And last week, I actually finished a project that I've had on the back burner for ages. It's one of those projects where I did it and I got to a point where I thought, oh, this is good enough for now and I'll come back to it later. And, you know, when does later ever come around? You have to fire that project back up again. And that, of course, was putting the bases, or finishing the bases for my Martians. I call them Martians, but they're my Skitarii army for 40k. I love them. I think they're great. And I've been struggling for ages on how to actually think about what I wanted those bases to actually look like. I had a general sort of feeling of what I thought I wanted. And no matter what I did, I just couldn't get it to work. And I was playing around with pigments. I really wanted the pigments to work. And I just couldn't do it. And, well, last week I did. And I'm so chuffed that I just randomly happened across this method of doing it. And it's just putting pigment down, essentially. But it's just the right blend of colours or the mix of colours and putting them in the right places rather than just kind of turfing them on there and spread it around. It's a little bit more delicate than that. Only ever so slightly more, but it really works. And I wouldn't say that I was 100% set on it at the end of last week, but I took a picture of it, I stuck it up on the Easy 8 Facebook page, and I sat there with a sense of vanity, and I kept on going back to it and having a little look at it. And the more I sat there and looked at it, the more it dawned on me that I hit the nail on the head. And it's such a great feeling to actually have a project finished, because now I've got 2 robots, I've got a little data smith, and I've got my little sentinel walker as well. I call it a sentinel walker, but it's not called that. Who cares? And they're done. They're sat here looking really cool. So it's got me thinking about what I want to do tonight. I'm really fired up by the finishing of a project. And that's the best thing about little victories. That was a small project that it took me one evening to do. I almost finished it in a show. I finished it in Discord at the end. And yeah, there's a couple of things that I can do. Do you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you over to the workbench and I'm going to show you straight away. Don't forget to subscribe. Please like, share, follow, all those things that all the wonderful people out there say. Here we go, workbench. So It's been a day where I've not really had an awful lot of caffeine, and I've not stopped. I was supposed to finish work at 3:30, and I didn't have a lunch break, and I carried on right through to 4:45, and then I had to go and pick my other half up from work, and then go back to my work, pick up another car, and then drive back. And I've just finished my dinner, and I've been on the go since 6 o'clock. So yeah, I'm probably going to get a lot of things wrong today. Anyway, do you know what? Happy Friday, everybody. Also, do you know what? Happy D-Day +1. Because, yeah, yesterday was the 80th anniversary of D-Day. And if you've been watching the show for the last month or so, you'll know that we did that really big expo with Duncan and his band of brothers, combining forces with so many other, providers of stuff out there to make this epic table, which has been displayed at the UK Games Expo, which was just the other weekend, and then it's been over in Normandy on Utah Beach at the site that the boards were depicting. What an incredible game of Inception that must have been. And Duncan thanked everyone for being a part of his journey. It was so cool. I absolutely loved it. It was wonderful. Anyway, do you know what I'm going to do? Ever so quickly, I'm going to have a little flick through all of the live chat things here because I didn't say hello. We got Table of Horrors. Hi, Shiv. How you doing, mate? We got Jeff. Hi, Dad. Yeah, almost time for the cats. Get me 8 more subscribers as soon as it clicks over the 200. And it stays there because sometimes it goes 200. No, just kidding. I'll bring the cats in. They'll eat everything. We got Brethren Tabletop Wargaming. Good evening. Hello, mate. How are you? Nice to see you again. Shiv wants to put the kettle on. Who wants a brew? Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Adrian. Hi, Adrian. I won't say no to a coffee. White with 2 sweeteners. Get the kettle boiling, pal. Staff's joined us. Hello, Stafford. Hello. We're going overseas with the language. I'm so glad you reminded me to thumbs up. You're very welcome. Thank you for thumbsing up. If you just did that, that'd be great. Dawnbreakers are here still. Really need an Escher gang for my wife. Oh, right. I was wondering what you were talking about. Right. You have a wife in the game? No, for your wife, who obviously wants an Escher gang. That would be sick. I'd love to see some photos of that. Please do take photos. You can put photos up on Facebook or on Discord. You can put it up on your social media of choice if you like. Or you could just tell me about it. Tell the guys over here about it in the live chat. That would be cool. Staff says that he is painting 15mm tanks again, and we should all play Necromunda. It is a great game to play. You should definitely play it. Mike's joined us, just stopping by to chuck a like on the channel on my way out to a work part-funded social event. Have a cracking evening. Tell everybody about this show. Tell them, I don't care who they are, unless they hate me. Jeff says, I've been working on some bocage sections. Again, deep joy. But your bocage sections are your jam. That's what you do. They're so good. There are a couple of other providers out there and they're good, but they haven't got a scratch on your bocage. If anyone wants to see some awesome bocage sections, go and check out Purple Lion Creations. It's my dad's shameless plug, I know. Just go down there, down in the comment section. Please find Purple Lion Creations as a Facebook page. Go for it, and look at all his stuff. He does magnetised road sections, river sections, and the bocages. Bocages, plural. The bocage is just awesome. So yeah, I'd love you to go and support my dad. That'd be great. Brethren Tabletop Wargame says my wife has just subscribed. Thank you very much, Brethren's wife. Brethreness. Brethren lady. Hi. Thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate that. That's so kind of you. I'm just looking to see. Oh yeah, look at that. I subscribe to your channel. Really appreciate that. There it is. Come up on the screen. That doesn't happen very often. Yeah. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all the comments and all the love and support, the chat, everything. Anyway, look, let's crack on with what we're actually supposed to be doing here. I finished the bases on this little family of dudes the other day. I'm so chuffed with how these turned out. I hope the camera really picks it up, how good they are. It's going to come into autofocus. There it is. Yeah, they just look really good. What I'm really happy with is the contrast, and I think that's the step that I was missing. I'm really croaky. Was the contrast from those kind of dark browns, those reddy browns, coming right up to those very, very bright oranges very, very quickly. No gradients, because it just all blends away too easily. What I didn't realise what I wanted is patchy orange bits over brown, and it's worked out really, really well. I've got this robot here, he looks cool. I've got this robot here, he looks really cool. I've got this Walker here. He's really cool. And to match them all in, I've got the Data Smith, and he's really cool as well, just in case you needed to know that. So, what I wanted to do was to bring my other Skitari up to scratch, because I did these ages and ages and ages ago, and when I did them, even though I considered them finished, I was never happy with the bases, and now that I've learned how to do the bases properly, I thought that it would be nice to redo them. So here they are. Now I've got a whole bunch of Skitari infantry, these two are having a tango, and I did redo all the base a little while ago, because I had all the base rims red and stuff. While it looked okay, one day I painted them very, very dark grey, or Corvus black, and they just look so much smarter. So I've already redone them, but you can see that the colours on the bases just need a little bit more contrast. Hopefully you can kind of see that. Even if I compare it against this guy here, they just need just a little bit more, just a bit more of a colour lift. So today I'm going to be doing all of these. I've also got the Marshal himself, so he's my little pseudo leader. Going to give him a little bit of colour on the base as well. Otherwise I'm happy with them, but when I finish that, and I will, I'm moving on to something a little bit more controversial in my life, because I keep coming back to this little project. I'm going to move these little fellas out of the way, over there. I'm going to OSL these guys up. Now, when I made this army, I didn't want to make a tournament list. I'm not a tournament player. I used to run little friendly tournaments for me and my friends. We had a blast doing it. It was great, and I would do it again if there was interest. But when I made this list up, I just wanted Ruler Cool. I just wanted, because he's got a really big gun, I wanted the two glowy guns that are in there, and I just wanted shameless variety, because why not? I am croaky. I'm absolutely rubbish at doing OSL. Now, I wasn't planning on doing masses of glowing effects. I just wanted to make some good plasma effects or plasma coil effects. That is atrocious, and that is the better of my attempts so far. It is awful, I'm embarrassed by it, it's shameful, and I should know better. So these need to be redone, and then I did the arc gun on this one here, which I did purple. And I almost got there with this one, and I pushed it a little bit too far, and then that one ended up like a pile of dog toffee as well. And I'm just utterly ashamed of them, and I've got to press on, and every time I fail, I get a little bit dismayed, and I put them away, and then I come back to them 6 months later, and I just want them done. I've got the right stuff for them, or at least the right stuff from a video that I saw. It was very, very simple, straightforward, and the process was easy, and the results were great. And I just need to do them. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the bases, so at least that's a victory. That's a win for tonight. Darren's joined us. Hi, Darren. Thank you ever so much for fixing my compressor. I'm going to say it for the next couple of weeks. Because you fixed my compressor means I can do this project today. So cheers, pal. I just love my little Martian force all coming together. They are so cool. And one day I will play a game. I've played one game of 10th edition, 40k, didn't really like it. Love to go back and play some 9th. If there are people out there that want to play me but they only play 10th, that's fine. And do you know what? I remember ages and ages ago, Blightforge Studios said to me, "Oh, I'll play you a game." And I was like, cool. And then I never followed that up. And I'm so sorry, Blightforge, if you're watching this. Please go and check out Blightforge Studios. Wonderful, wonderful commission painter. Go and check out his stuff. It's awesome. And he can paint OSL way better than I can, because mine is rubbish. Very, very ashamed of this. Table Horror says, I believe the female version of Brethren is Femthrin. Really? Is that a word? Are you making that up? Femthrin? Brethren just rolls off the tongue. Femthrin sounds like I'm being barbaric to a foreign language that I don't fully understand. Femthrin. I will keep saying it until it comes out properly. Once I've got this project done, I've got some other projects to do as well, and I'm really excited to do them. And one of the reasons I'm getting this done is because it is now starting newer projects. This is a project that needs to have some doors closed on it. And a few months ago, I went on to Facebook and I saw that Overlord Games, link down there, was having a bit of a clear out sale, and there was some stuff that I couldn't say no to. So I bought and have recently made a Screamer Killer for our Tyranids. this is a beast of a model. So this, for any of you that are a little unsure, is the next evolution of the Carnifex, which is the really big tank smashing tank Tyranid, I suppose. It's their siege thing, it's their butcher thing. It's just a really big monster. Back in the old days, in the 1990s, there was what they called the Screamer Killer. That was a little lead and often white metal thing that had these sorts of talons on it. And what they've done is they've kind of gone back to that design and made it more contemporary, brought it into the 21st century, and my goodness, what a beast of a model. When I was looking at pictures of it, I wasn't sold on the head, as I'm sure that there were many, many people out there who shared that feeling. But now that it's in front of me and I've put it together, I can see that it's not a balding hairdo. I can see more clearly what it is. I'm trying to get it to autofocus. There you go. And it's grown on me a little bit. I like it. I like that we've gone back to that old Geiger style head, which is really, really cool. I love it. It's just a beast. I put them all together, but I have made the arms detachable still, so they will come off. So it might make it a bit easier for storage and for painting. And I probably will keep it that way, so they just kind of slot in. I did a pretty good job cleaning it up as I was painting it, but I'm sat here now under like the really good light in the studio. I can see there's a couple of little seams and stuff, so there is still a little bit more building work to do with it. It does need a base, and Grant at Overlord said, when I sent it to you, I didn't send you the right base. So very kindly, he's going to send that one out to me. I'm in no rush for that because I could just hold it on a skewer or, other holding platform thingy to paint it. But that's a new project that needs to be done later on, and I've got some new ideas, visions rather, on where I want to go with my Tyranid painting scheme. It's time to make it look a little more grittier. I don't want to do grim dark with my Tyranids. I've never wanted to do grim dark with them. I like the bright yellow colours, but I need to add some contrast in there because they look a little comic booky. Not even comic booky, just cartoony. Now, one of the delightful happy accents, not even a happy accent, it was just Grant being super nice to me from Overlord. When he sent me the sprue for it, it comes with other creatures on there, and for the price of my Screamer Killer, I got this new Tyranid for free, I suppose. So thank you very much, Grant, for your kindness. He's a swell dude, is Grant, absolutely lovely chap. And was just like, no, consider it patron towards all the shout outs I give him on the show. So you're absolutely welcome. Please go and check out Overlord because he deserves the love. This is a Neuro Tyrant. It's a very new Tyranid. It's all very gangly and lots of tentacles and a big funny hood thing. Big fat Psyker leader. Gonna have fun painting him up. He also, on the back of him, has these little things in here called neuraloids, which are like little floaty facehugger brains. And there are two little miniatures that come with them to kind of say that he produces these and fires them out, maybe. I don't really know the lore behind it. And there's a couple more things that come off the sprue. They come on little 25mm bases. So there's even more to go yet. That's another project. Probably do that separate from the Screamer Killer because that's going to be a beast of a mission in itself. So yeah, and I've got some tanks to paint in various scales. There is so much to do, and I've got more of these guys. Now that I'm winning on these, I just want to keep on winning. So maybe when I've done these, we'll have a little poll, see what you guys want to see me paint, because I know I'm doing my own stuff, but it's a show. You come along for some sort of entertainment. You get a say in what I paint, so I'll put a little poll up and see what it is that you want me to finish. Magpie says, I'll accept Madam Brethren in the absence of an alternative. Thank you very much, because Femthrin, while I'm starting to get used to it, is still a little unnatural on the tip of the tongue. Femthrin. Yeah, it's because it's got a foot and a foot in it, and it's very difficult. Madam Brethren just sounds like a Tarantino character, and I think you get badass. That's cool. Darren says, Alien Krusty the Clownhead. You're absolutely right. Well, that's ruined everything, so we're not doing that model ever again. Cheers. Anyway, please tell me about all your projects this evening while I crack on with these guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of work my way down the queue. So I'm going to create a bit of a production queue here. I'm going to put the OSL guys, the lighty weapon guys, right at the end of that queue. Because I'm probably just going to do the OSL on them later. Oh, do you know what? I should probably do them now so that they're dry when I get there. Good point. I'll put Mr. Sniper Pants down there. And then I've just got a whole load of guys with just normal rifles. These guys are just going to go here. Yeah. This guy is their, like, little sergeant dude, I suppose. He's got a pistol and a cattle prod because why not? catapults in the wind. And here's the Marshal. This is the first guy I ever made. When I was painting, I decided to not glue them together. They just stayed that way, and I like that because it means I can get in there and do a base on there pretty easily. I will do him first and then get to those two. So, I could sit here and go back to basics and paint the base the same colour or whatever. I'm not really going to do that. What I'm going to do is just intensify the spots that are already on him. What colours I was using, I painted the bases hull red, which is a nice dark sort of red hued brown. It's very little red in it at all. And then wait for that to dry, and then I put a little bit of burnt sienna, which is like a dark orangey colour, on there, and then I put on patches of red ochre, which is the really bright orange that I've got, and that matches their camouflage as well, which is kind of cool, or their colour scheme anyway. And you can see that I've got bits of everything on there, but there's some brighter spots on here. What I'm going to do is just enhance those with more of this. And they probably won't come out as good as what I've already got because the contrast is a little bit lost, but I'm not going to keep on going backwards and backwards all the time. And I'm just going to just try and create some focus points on here, basically. So I was getting a lot of joy out of using my army painter brush here, just because it's a good quality brush, but it hasn't got a point on it because I over trimmed it one day, so I'm not too concerned about going all stabby with it. So literally just going to put some piles of this colour down just where I see that pigment building up a bit. That already exists there. And the trick is to not go too crazy with it. Spread it out a little bit, but leave lots of the other colours lying around. And as long as I get somewhere near to what I've had already, I'll be happy. I'm trying to leave the darkest patches on there so that I do have a little bit of contrast. Struggling with the autofocus today, aren't we? Let's see if I can get that autofocus to do one. Bye, autofocus. There we go, that'll do for now. If I keep it held there, it'll be alright, won't it? That's already looking a little bit better. Now I did the bases on the robots twice using this method, because what I did is I came in with a pipette and I dropped big globs of pigment fixer all over it, like I've seen plenty of tutorials doing, and it didn't work very well and made them look all greasy and stuff. And the first time I did it as well, I even put like matte varnish down and it just totally changed the colour, and I didn't like that at all. So then I did the pipettes of pigment fixer, and yeah, and still didn't like it, so I started again and then just sprayed it on with an airbrush, and it was so much nicer. Spread it out a little bit, there we go, and I've got some nice contrast on there, some bright spots amongst some duller colours, but all still within the same sort of key of colour, if you like that. That's good. Ace. Darren says, gotta go, guys, have fun. Nice to see you again, Darren. Take care, pal. Love you. Right, let's go to Shiny Monkey Gun Base. Where are you? These guys don't come in half, unfortunately. Jeff says, you've got more stuff to do for me as well. Yes, I do have more stuff to do for you as well. Do you know what? I will get around to that. I'm aware it's sat there. I've actually got it in a position where I can't miss it, which I suppose is cool. What I'll do is I'll include that on the poll list as to what I do next, because I know that they're due for a bit later on down the year, but well, we know what happens. The year moves on fast. Can you believe that we're already quite a bit into June? It's crazy, isn't it? They say that time moves faster when you're older. I don't like the acknowledgement of being old. There we go, just feathering that out. That's going quite quickly. I'm enjoying that, that's nice. onto this shiny gun dude. Don't need it till October, says Jeff. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm aware. I also don't want to leave it too late. It should be quite an easy project thinking about it, but I've got a little bit of research to do on it. But perhaps I'll include it in the poll. Trying to find those lighter spots on the base. Here I can see at the back there's a lighter bit there. It's got a little bit of white stuff on the back. What's that all about? Get rid of that. Now I'm wiping pigment on his cloak. Getting it everywhere. I found it's quite important to not pick up too much. When I started using pigment, I was just picking up loads and smashing it down because I thought that's kind of what you did. But don't listen to people. It's not easy to get rid of. They say, oh, you can just kind of wash it away. You can't. It stays there. It doesn't go anywhere. There will always be some sort of residue left over. So just be aware of that. You start spreading it around and moving it around, and it sticks around. Cool. That's him done. Let's go to the sergeant guy. I think the sergeant guys are called alphas. Really not happy with how I did the weathering on the bottom of these cloaks as well. I've learned so much doing these, and it's okay to keep models that aren't up to the standard of the rest of your army. As you just paint and paint and paint, you're always going to improve or do something different. And that's part of being an artist, right? An artist, it's taken me a long time to come to terms with the fact that being an artist, it's not a rank. It's not like you have to achieve a certain level of artistry to be considered an artist. You perform art, you do art, therefore you are an artist, and art is subjective and it doesn't have elitism like that. You just get better than you were yesterday, and that's really nice. So I don't even know what it was about, but it just like a little clip came up on my Facebook feed the other day of Ethan Hawke, Uma Thurman's ex-husband. I'm sure it's ex-husband, right? And he was just saying that art isn't really an option. It's sustenance. We need art. It kind of feeds us. It makes us who we are and creates social circles, and we need it to feel complete, and I absolutely agree. Imagine a world without music or painting or dance or Game of Thrones. Going quite fast. I'm enjoying this. This is nice. Staff says October 2025. Yeah. It's in the calendar. October 2025. You'll get it. When I say you'll get it, you'd have to keep nagging me every 6 months. Stafford says, my painting sucked yesterday and still does. No, it doesn't. I like your painting. I loved what you did with the Normandy houses as well. And sometimes it's just about finding the right combination or the right recipe or, the way in which the paint works with other paints or whatever it is. Sometimes you just need to find that thing. Like it's taken me probably years now to find the right combination of colours for the bases on these guys. But here I am, making it work. We'll get there. And art is so personal to us as well. How many times have you ever drawn a picture and someone's gone, that's rubbish? Oh, sorry, someone has gone that's wonderful, and you go, it's rubbish, and then you throw it in the bin. But actually that person really liked it. I don't particularly find an awful lot of interest in the art that is, it's called abstract, but I call it turd waffle. But it's that's the polite version. It doesn't mean anything to me. I don't get it, but it has a place in the world. You know, here's a black canvas that I painted, and I put a white dot in the corner. It means this. Does it? Okay, but you know, people spend money on it, and they love it, and they have it in their collections or in their homes, and you know, get more personal. Having it in your home, it means something to someone. So yeah, don't be so dismissive of your work, because you need to compare it, properly compare it, not just saying it sucked yesterday. Compare it to something from like last week. I like your little tanks, mate. Sure you're shouting there. Two fish in a tank. One says to the other, "Do you know how to drive this thing?" Thanks for that. You guys are weird. Yeah, these guys are all starting to match together now. It's looking really cool. So like now that I've got them beside their, you know, their robots and their walkers and stuff, it's looking pretty decent. When I've got a big pile of pigment, it shows up the colour really strong, but you can see that it is just a pile of powder. So where I see that, I just try to just touch the end of the brush into it, just to feather it out a little bit. But that does get rid of the sort of intensity of the colour a little bit. So I come back in with a little bit more, rinse, repeat until I build it up, and you can't see anything underneath it anymore. And we've got like an intensity of colour there, and there. And when I put the pigment fixer on it, it should sort of blend it down a little bit as well, mush it down a bit. Excellent. That one's looking a little bit worse for wear, a little bit sorry for itself. I think what I was doing was applying pigment and brushing most of it away and leaving behind the sort of the stain, if you like, the residue. Two soldiers in a tank. One says to the other. Now that I've got this little method with the pigment powder, I just sit here and move it around on this guy's base, knowing that I can achieve the look that I wanted originally, and that's quite a nice feeling. And it means I'm not rushing to just try and explore as many different ways to apply this colour. I know what it should look like. I know when I get there, and I know what to expect. And I was worried that it would all blend in with their cloaks, but actually, that's really cool. The silver really breaks it up in terms of a piece, you know. Bit slower pace while I haven't got any kind of paints out or the airbrush on the go. And we're allowed to have a slower pace session, right? This is kind of, you know, offers a little bit of variety in the show. How is everybody at the moment anyway? Is everybody okay? We all good? How are your projects coming on this evening? I think I've gone a bit crazy down there with the powder. Let's just push that out a little bit. Yeah, I can see a bit too much powdery build up. Spread it out a little. Just feather it there with that brush. Nice. And last one. This guy. I remember doing this guy because the base is a bit bigger, I suppose. I had a bit more room to explore what I was doing. And I remember thinking to myself, you know, I'm almost there. and I look at it now going like, I see why I thought I was almost there. It's so close to what I've achieved on the bigger ones, and again, it is just the intensity of that colour. I put a big dollop in, spread it around, and what I've done is I've evened out the contrast, so I haven't got stark contrast between dark tones and bright tones. I've got these little hot spots which need to be sort of brought back up a little bit, and hopefully that'll make the darker patches look darker. So I've put a big old patch there, just move it around a little bit, trying to follow where the intense bits are. I don't really know where the best places are to put it in terms of, you know, the terrain that's on there. Does it gather under the edges of rocks? In my mind it does. I'm not going to go out and start researching how dust collects. I'm just having fun putting some powder on a bit of plastic. Some rough terrain over here, so I'm going to try and let it sit in the creases and the cracks, like it's collecting in all the little ridges and things, and then leave the surfaces that kind of raise up, stand up through it. Okay, take a little lean back. Yeah, and other than that, actually I'm going to put a bit more on this guy, just over there. This looks like we could do a bit more on the edge there. Yes. Nice. Done. Why not, eh? Seal that up. Don't want that going everywhere. Oh my god, the mess it would make. Went to the doctor the other day, and I said, "Doctor, I keep seeing colours everywhere." Doctor said to me, "It's just a figment of your imagination." Don't like his tone. Where are you feeling? Where are you feeling off colour? I'm also making a big farmhouse in 54mm. Thanks, the sensor's come back into the live chat. It's chuffing huge 54mm farmhouse. Absolutely bonkers. Gotta see that. Pictures or it never happened, please put them up on Facebook or on Discord. Yeah, would love to see some of that. Shiv says, I wonder how many 54mm cows you need to get enough milk to fill a bowl of cereal. What? Are you off your rocker today, mate? Are you right? But now the question's out there, let's do some research. Do the numbers, please. We need some measurements, clearly. Right. It's all gone peak company. Excuse me. Right. Get him a piece of paper out, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fire up the old compressor, which is now working thanks to Darren, who was just in the live chat earlier. It broke recently. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some pigment fixer, which I've put away in this drawer over here. Pigment fixer. I've fairly certain this is just some sort of spirit, like white spirit or something. It smells very similar. Yeah, and I like to airbrush it on. Got to give your airbrush a good clean up because it's oil based. Because yeah, you don't want oil sitting in your airbrush. So what I do is I just get a pipette, just drop a load in there, and I just do gentle passes with it because the pressure of the air coming out is enough to blow the pigment that I've just spent all that time putting on the bases to blow it away. And I don't want that because I want heavy build up, man. Yeah, dude, it's been a week. I'm probably a little loopy. 11. More than that, it's just greedy. Yeah, 11 counts. They've all got to be painted as well. Okay, so this got a little pipette. Oh, it smells funky. It's that strange smell. Just so some of you who might not know, this is a ventilated room. There is a skylight window just over there. Very, very large, very, very open. Fan underneath here. There's another skylight up there, just as big, slightly open. There's a lot of airflow through here. I'm actually quite comfortable. So yeah, if I didn't have that, I would definitely be wearing ventilators. Cool. And because it is a smelly welly little substance, I'm just going to pop the lid back on that. Smelly welly, that's right. 6. Okay. Flow test just where I can see it. It's pretty tricky to see because it's colourless, so I've just got to be able to try and catch it in the light. Where it hits the base, you can just see it changing. Go there. There we go, that's what I was looking for. Thank you very much. Trying to do it from a distance away as well, because I feel that the air is less likely to blow the pigment around. That makes sense, right? And I'm getting a much more even distribution of this chemical rather than putting great big blobs on it from the pipette, putting it straight on there. It oversaturated, it left big old greasy marks on it, changed the colour a little bit, changed the intensity basically. Now, does it like the colour fades a little bit, the intensity of it fades when I'm spraying this on, but when this evaporates and dries, the pigment colour does pop back again. I had the same thing with the robots in the Walker. Just go back through them all again because got a little bit left in the hopper, why not? Project done. I will accept applause. Thank you so much. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is just going to get whatever's left over in the hopper here back in there. Just a couple of drops, but worth saving every drop, isn't it? Lush. Spray what's out in the chamber. Yep, get that gone. And what I'm going to do is just take away this bright piece of paper because it's probably blinding everybody because my exposure levels are all over the place and I'm not very good at sorting that out. Right. Mr. Top parts can go over there. Lovely. That's secure. Lock that away. And what's important now is I go to the purge tank and just purge my airbrush out. I'm just going to not flush it through with water right now because water and oil don't mix and it is a spirit-based substance, that I'm sure it is. So I'm just going to put a couple of drops of cleaner in there because I'm sure that will help move it through. Excellent, that's gone through. And now I'll just fill that hopper up. And I'll just keep doing this for a minute just to help get everything through the airbrush. And now we're going to be going on to OSL. And I know what I need to do. First things first, I probably need to clean up those guns by painting a little bit of silver back on them. Because I've got so much overspray, it's terrible. I'm so embarrassed by it. Ghost walks into a bar, barman says, sorry, we don't serve spirits here. Guy goes into a bar, says ow. Sure, I got that wrong. Why did the chicken cross the road? Because... Well, that's on the internet now. That's not going anywhere, is it? Why do I do it to myself? Or my favourite. Why did the chicken cross the road? Your mum. Love a mum joke. Right, so update. 2 cats have been donkey gelbed and the Choco Brawn camo is now on. Now waiting for it to dry. No dry-matic. Then time for Donkey Grun. Not reading it out, mate. Don't know where we're going with this. For a minute there, I misunderstood what you meant by cat stuff. Yeah, it took me a couple. I had to slow it down. That's why I was reading it. That's why I was reading slow. Yep, you can write it, but I ain't reading it. Lucky I don't click that little box that says this is made for kids, isn't it? Normal service will resume in just a moment. Right, those guys should be ready. That should be all evaporated and done. So I'm just going to move on with my life. Well happy with that. It's come out well. So, basically I need to repaint these guns. I need to get some silver on them, sort that out immediately because it looks awful. And what I'm going to do is paint the plasma coils. So I'm going to paint the plasma coils black. That's where I went wrong the last time. I thought I was doing it right, but I did it all wrong basically. And yeah, they need to go black. And then I put some white ink, really watered down or thinned down, and then run it into the grooves. The guy who I saw do this is The Source. The Source. Go and check him out. An amazing painter, just all-round trendy guy. And he does it this way. I watched him do it, not live, but right there. And he paints it black, puts the white ink in there, and then does a gentle spray of colour over the top with inks. Now I went and bought some inks, and if these don't work, the only choice I've really got after that is go and buy some fluorescent acrylics. Now this is pretty fluorescent. These are fluorescent inks. You can see that they've separated a little bit, so they're going to need a jolly good waz. It's going to have to be a hand waz today. That sounded so much better in my head. I've got a blue and I've got a cheeky magenta. Just ignore the fact that I just said that. This should be a safe place. It should be a safe place for you to bring your families, but basically just don't. Okay, cool. So I need to neaten these up. I need to paint that silver. So let's get some silver. Here is some silver. Shaky time. Why are the dinosaur across the road? The chicken hadn't evolved yet. Okay, you can paint chickens. Chickens are great animals. It's nothing. It's totally gonna stick. Yeah. So Luke, who hasn't been on the show for a long time, bless him. I hope you're okay, Luke, if you ever get around to watching this. He is the guy who set up and made our Discord server, channel, page, whatever. And thanks, Luke, by the way, for doing that. Sound proper decent guy. But one of the tabs down the side is stupid things that you'll hear on the show. And if you was here listening to that, that would be straight up there. Every week you post up something silly that I'd say. Because I don't know, I haven't got a filter and I haven't got a script, and I suppose those two together are probably the worst things in the world, right? One day, maybe Easy 8 will make it, like, you know, into one of those big, you know, big time shows. I don't think it ever will, but maybe one day it will be. And when I get there, should I ever have a script? Should I just start talking complete tongue waffle? Needs hand clapping. Totally gonna dig it. Hi all, the music seems really loud tonight, or is it just me? It might just be you. It's actually quite loud, quite quiet in my headset, to be honest. But the last couple of weeks I have been struggling with the audio a little bit. You can crank it down a little bit if you like. Let's see where we go with this. It's exactly the same setting where it normally is. Down a few percent. How's that? It has got a bit loud. Okay, cool. Not sure about anyone else, but the music is too loud to Danny's voice. Anyone else? Okay, yeah, cool. It's difficult when all the tracks have got their own individual levels. Here's an awkward thing, is that the silver on this gun is actually a different type of silver than what I normally would do. I was trying out proper decent metallic paints, and whilst it is a nice colour paint, I decided to not go with it, and now I'm using this one, and it's I don't need it to be anything special at this stage, I just need it to tidy up the mess that I've made. I will blend the silver in with some silicone and grey wash. Danny, turn your mic up. It's on maximum gain boost thingy. I can't do anything about that. Or maybe I can. But you will get a bit of background increase. It's just the individual tracks. They've all got their own different levels. Is that better for you? I have been having some audio issues over the last sort of 7 or 8 days. If you remember last week's show, the microphone just stopped working altogether, which was fun. It wasn't fun, it caused me a lot of stress. So we've got that coil in there, which I'm going to paint black. I'm also going to do these bulbs here as well. That looks better just like that anyway, because it's looking, well, it's looking neater. Which is great. So just going to let that dry for a minute. His eyes need doing as well, because they're terrible too. Hopefully I'll get this done tonight. So there's that one. Need to neaten up this guy as well. But of course we are getting time close to the intermission. All my controls are all going wrong. Great, lovely to see that everything's working well today. What I'll do is I'll just use up the last of the stuff on my palette. Just get that in there. Gonna have to repaint the whole gun, I think. I think what I'm going to try and do is just not focus on getting the best OSL, but just try and get a good effect in the coils. Really, if I can get that, I'll be happy, because I think that the intention is implied, you know, like the effect is implied rather. It's looking better already just from being neatened up a little bit. There's some little gold spots and things on there that are all going to need to be repainted, so I'm going to have to get in there and do those in a minute. But right now it is important to just have a little walk away for a minute, focus on the little victory that I've had today, and go and get myself a grown-up juice. So yeah, there we go. Stop shouting. Oh my god, that is so much better. Yeah, that's just a little bit more of a gain increase. Let me know if that's too much. Let me know if there's too much background noise on it. It's actually very difficult to test all these things. I'm not a sounds engineer. I actually have extremely sensitive hearing, but it doesn't mean that I'm very good at discerning between, like, you know, static and just not static or whatever. Sounds engineers are very, very talented, very, very skilled people, and I wish I had one dedicated on this show. OSL, I quite like it when they use just white. Yes, I'm not going to use just white though. Sorry. It's so hard. It's part of why I chose Blood Angels. Easier to do muzzle burn than OSL. Yeah, I'd love to do that as well. But I've got projects lined up to tackle that. I think it'll be good fun to do. But I really want to get this thing done. What the idea is to paint. See that whole blue-white area on this model? The idea is to paint that whole area black. Really black it out, so it's jet black. Then come in with a really, really thin down white. apply that, that then runs into all the grooves. What that does is it gives you really bright recesses. The source, the guy on there said that in his mind that the heat, the light is on the inside of the gun, so it's closer to the middle. So when you go down into the grooves, you're kind of getting closer to it. That's how it works in his head, because plasma guns aren't a real thing, so just deal with it. I love that argument. I think that's great. And does a little bit of overspray with the white around the outsides of the area, just to kind of give a little bit of a glow. And he also does little areas like on the model itself, which I'm not going to try and tackle today. And then he comes in with a thinned down version of the fluorescent ink, and it just changes the colour. And then you can come with a little bit more white if you want to brighten things up and just add layers and layers or whatever. But actually all you need to do is go black, thin down white, airbrush overspray with white, and then just come in with a thin down spray of your chosen colour. That should be it. Should be it. Let's see what happens, right? Anyway, look, it's time for a break. I'm going to finish the last swig of my tea. Done. Almost. See you back in 10 minutes. Go change your paint water. Come back with a grown-up juice. See you in a minute. Bye-bye. Welcome back. I had a fun little break. Went downstairs and I had to go rescue my cat from the neighbour's shed because he's learned to climb to new places. Interesting. Anyway, look, it is that time of the day. I went and got myself a nice pint of golden ale and a cheeky bit of chocolate at the same time. Cheers. Happy weekend, everybody. It's payday for me, by the way, as well. Yay. What a day. So now I can go and buy a new car. That's what I need to do this week. Yeah, scrapped the old one. It was the most upsetting thing I've done this year. Love that car. I absolutely loved it. It was so good to me. Never mind, eh? I've got a few days off this week. I've got about 5 days off. Me and my partner were going to go do some fun things. And now those fun things are car shopping. How extremely dull. Anyway... I hope your projects are going really well this evening. If you've just joined us, this is not a tutorial show. There's loads of that stuff out there already. This is a painting club. Come along, make some friends, paint some stuff, get some colour on your grey, because we've all got mountains of unpainted stuff. It's building up, like I'm buying stuff all the time and I can't help it. And I can't paint it fast enough. So come and make some friends and fail together. If that's the right message to be setting out there, I don't know. Yeah, and today I'm painting my... Adeptus Mechanicus, hopefully trying to get, all the bases are all done now, but hopefully trying to get my OSL light effects achieved. That is the beer burping. I'm so sorry. It is past the watershed now. Is it? Is this a watershed? Christulus has joined us. Looks delicious. It is delicious. I love a golden ale. It is my all-time favourite. Yeah, I love it. I used to really like dark ales, but as I got a bit older, I went away from the more bitter ones, and I love a in the mid 4% somewhere, about 4.4, 4.5. I love it. A nice crispy golden ale. I don't like it too bitter, like a bit of sweetness to it. This is lovely. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, because I think I can get away with it. But if Kyle, my old co-host, was watching this, he'd be going mental right now. You can't advertise on YouTube. I think I can say what it is. Yeah, anyway. Come and let me know what your projects are. If you're working on something this evening, I would genuinely like to know. I'm not just making it up for the likes. I want to know what you guys are up to today. And if you like what we do, please do consider subscribing, because we're up to 193. We've changed in the middle of the show. I'd love to have more. I genuinely want more. I'm not in it for the vanity. I just want the community to be big, because it's lovely. All of you guys are wonderful. I love your company. I actually look forward to meeting and talking to you guys every week more than painting the miniatures, and painting the miniatures is very important to me. Check you guys out, aren't you wonderful? If you want to share some pictures of your stuff, you can do on Facebook, on Facebook, and on Discord at the Easy 8 After Party at the end of the show if you want to. Check out my stuff on Instagram. I haven't been active on there for ages, and I really want to change that. Hopefully over the next few days I'll do that. Yeah, I really need to sort my... Do you know what? I need a PA. I need someone who, like a digital assistant who can help me do all that stuff, because I'm just so ADHD, I just can't handle it. Yeah, I'd love your company. Come along, make some friends, join in the live chat, watch it back on the replay. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down there. All of these things in every way that you can interact with this show, with every episode, affects the algorithm. All hail the algorithm. For the greater good. Staff says, I'm drinking Guinness and trying really hard to not clean my paintbrush in it again. It sounds like you need to drink faster. That is awful advice. I'm so sorry. You drink at your own pace, sir. Don't let me tell you what to do. Alexi CC, I'll run your Instagram. Hi, Alexi. How you doing, mate? Haven't seen you for ages. Yeah, you could run my Instagram. It's not necessarily the uploading of the photos that's the problem. It's the taking them. I want to do more photos of finished stuff, and I've got a specific way that I want to do it, and I just don't. And I need to stop that nonsense, frankly. Now I'm thinking about it, there is a little way that I could make a little setup. You can't see that. But just, I don't know, just subscribe. It would be great. Thanks very much. Yeah, we'll get loads of viewers in again. That's great. Golden Spotted Rooster Ale. I don't know. Spotted Rooster. Oh, yeah, I know where you're going with that one. No, this is more of the larger greenskin variety. Yeah. Don't know how to It's a bit orky, maybe, like a small orc. A golden one at that. I love it. I'm sure I can say it, but I just don't want to risk it. I don't want this part of the video later on after processing for it to go like, because that's what it does now, isn't it? It just cuts out little bits of it, or it completely have all the audio ruined for my entire 2-hour live stream. Which, do you know what? A lot of people follow the show afterwards. I'll get about average 10 views during a live show, and that's great. It fills my heart with warm fuzzy stuff. But like the average view rate is actually 50, and that's brilliant. Like I never ever thought I'd ever get to that. This isn't. I set this up for a hobby and something to do during the pandemic, and now people are using it as a social hub. People are using it for a mental wellness thing, and I just think that that's so valuable to people. And I'm trying to make sure that I never ever sound big-headed about that. It was never made for that. It was never intentional. It was a happy accident, and I love every part of it. It's the hobby. The two things are interwoven for me now. One is not without the other, and it never will be. So, yay. Drink your paint water faster. I'll do it because Easy8 said so. No, I meant drink his alcohol. He should be drinking his alcohol fast. Drink responsibly. And drink the correct fluids, please. Don't drink your paint water. It's toxic and nasty. I'll see you in a few days and keep reminding you to post on Instagram then. I mean, you can post on Instagram for me. I just need to take the bloody photographs, don't I, really? Anyway. Let's move away from this silly screen. Let's go back to the workbench, shall we? I've also got a cheeky bit of chocolate here. I wonder if you can tell what that is. That's not advertising, is it, if I show you that? I need to plug in my headset for I'm losing battery. I've been using it too much without the power cable. Bear with me just a moment. Don't always do that, but gotta be done. Yum, yum, yum. So, what am I doing? OSL, Object Source Lighting. I've painted this thing silver, neatened all that up from the crisis of the previous attempts. It needs a bit of a wash, because as you can see, that silver is just shockingly cheap and nasty. It looks like a toy. I know they are toys, but who cares? So it needs a wash. Silicanum grey. Contrast paint. Got a thick base. It's got a couple of rattly balls in there. Give that a shake. It's got a really... I don't know what it is. I think it's like clay based or something. You can see that it's starting to change that in there. Some interesting comments going here. I'm using it to paint. Damn, am I doing it wrong? You don't paint with your alcohol. You are having a mare today, aren't you? Try saying it in Pig Latin then. Pig Latin. What if I could get away with saying it in like another language? A language that isn't real, like Klingon or something. Because I'm really ashamed to say that I can actually speak Klingon. Really, there is a shameful nerd hidden at the back of this mind. Yeah, Danny has ears. The rumours were true. They're not real. What's not real? Oh, I see. The chocolate, right? Yes. Okay, cool. So, what I will do here is I will get a bigger brush. I need to have a bit of tidy up with my brushes over here. I've just been chucking them on the side. I was getting very excited last week and not doing very good housekeeping. So, I'm going to get a big old blob of this paint. Hopefully it won't shut on me. There it is. It just needs to go in the palette just there. And that needs to be mixed 50-50 with water, and that's going to make me a lovely little wash. And I find it just helps de-cheapen, if that's a word, the silvery colours. Silver paint. I've got problems with silver paint. I've spoken about this loads before. Silver paint is wonderful. I like metallic colours. I'd love to get into painting non-metallic metallics. I think that's just showing off your skill sets. I don't think it looks very realistic, but it is beautiful what people can do. I will get around to doing it one day and having a go at it, but I think that true metallics are the way forwards if you want to paint something that looks metallic. And silver paint looks awful. So gold paint looks even worse. I don't think they look like the colours that they're supposed to represent because Metals, polished metals, are reflective surfaces. They're not really colours. They're either yellow or they're white or whatever, so on and so forth. And they just reflect. So to kind of achieve that in a miniature paint, you have a colour and it has glitter in it essentially. And if you've got a cheap glitter, that glitter particles are really big, and the better your quality your paint is, the smaller those particles are. And when you get to a point where you can't really see the particles, it's a really good quality paint. Now, if you get a little bit of your silver paint from Vallejo, for example, when you pour it out into your palette, you can see the glitter. It's tiny, but you can see it. You can see the individual spotty reflections. And I might be talking complete nonsense, but I've seen it. I know what I'm talking about. Surely it's real, right? So I've got like decent quality metals, and they look too good on these tiny little miniatures. So that's why I use the I'm going to call them cheaper. They're just like the normal silver paints. I just got a little bit hyper focused on trying to improve my silvers. What I do is I use the normal silver paints and I put a wash of this colour over the top, and it just brings it to life. I need a little bit more paint in there because it's not as saturated as I wanted it to be. There we go. Let's put a bit more palette. It's a bit too watery. Yeah, it brings it all together. It blends it all together. It runs into little recesses, and on a tiny little miniature, you need that to show the details because it's so small you can't really see it. And it just stops the individual little bits of glitter from being so prominent. Dulls it down a little bit, stops it making it look like it's so brushed steel, unless you're after brushed steel. If we buy cheap silver paint, we should pour it out and stamp on it to make it better. Yeah? Why not? I don't know where you're going with that. Just so we can see the difference here. This is the paint. So all of this area here is just painted silver, and it's really, really bright. Looks like brushed aluminium tin. On this side, same color, and it's just done it some wonders. Just looks a little bit tarnished, maybe. And that's a trick that I saw. I'm sure I saw Duncan Rhodes doing it. You know, the master and god himself, and. I was like, yep, I'm doing that. And I told Kez about this, and now Kez, who isn't in the live chat today, or is in the live chat, I'm sure I saw Kez earlier on. Hi Kez, are you there? Kez uses this as a unifying blend on almost everything, on every colour, and it works. It's not a black, it's a very, very dark grey. Not as dark as the Corvus black that I like to use on my base rims, but very close to it, I think. And yeah, it washes it down 50-50, and it just, with water as well, it's just good. It's just a good colour. Brings everything together, and it's one of the things that I'm thinking about using on my aliens, on my Tyranids, to make them gritty. I need to think about that a little bit. Just trying to make sure that I get a decent application of this paint. I don't want it to like run wild and run around somewhere and make it look ugly. If I'm painting it, I'm going to paint it proper. That's not actually looking too bad itself, but now that I've neatened it up, it's looking pretty good, isn't it? Shiv says, I mean, I guess you could pour it out. Depends how cute you can be, I guess. I don't know what you're talking about. I think can someone do a hard reset on Shiv, please? I think he needs turning off and back on again. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm too old to pour. Kez says, there is a YouTube page called Squad Games that tests paints. They have recently done gold and silver. Hi Kez, you were there. I'm sure I saw you at the beginning. You've been quiet for a little bit. Okay, cool. Could you do me a favour get a link and stick it in the comments section, not in the live chat, in the comments. And it might be that we might not be able to actually make a comment yet because the stream is live. It needs to post-process. Don't really know what that means. I think like basically the algorithm, the greater good. I think the algorithm needs to like check through the audio and the stuff, make sure that I'm not advertising or whatever. So you might not be able to do it right now. You might have to do it in like 24 hours perhaps. But have a go. See if you can leave a comment. I'd love to see that video. And leaving a link there means that others can also follow in your footsteps. Christina says, I was all caught up with my hobby queue and now I have packages from a Kickstarter to build. Does putting grey together count as progress? It never seems to end. Yes, it does. Yes, it does, because there's one step closer to being painted. I know it's a painting club, but it's a hobby club. Call it what you want. You can call it Susan Club for all I care. I don't really mind. Do your thing. You just have fun doing whatever. You could be making models, painting paintings. I don't mind. Making music. Leslie, I haven't seen Leslie for a while, but Leslie comes along and just sits there and writes songs. Brilliant. Love it. Just come along and share your art, man. That's a tasty beer. I'm enjoying that a little too much. Okay. Going to come back to this gun. While that wash is drying, I'm going to come back and paint this guy silver in a minute. Not the whole guy. Just need to neaten up that previous attempt that was just awful. I know it's a learning curve, but it's so bad. It's so sad when you do a job that you think you're going to get right and then you just don't. It's mentally debilitating. Okay, so I've started already on here. I just need to apply a little bit of silver here. So I've got loads of overspray where I've tried to make that glow effect. And if I'd done it right in the first place, it probably would have worked much better. So I got loads of colour overspray to make it look like there was light coming from it, but I wasn't using a fluorescent colour, so that the colour wasn't very luminous, didn't have a lot of brightness behind it, so it sort of disappeared in its own dullness. But also there was no background to it, so I need to apply a misting of like bright white ink behind it as well to really help that colour pop. But where it was located was fine. Ket says, I am planning on coming away from doing a uniform wash and trying washes closer to the colours. We'll see how that goes when I get them. Yeah, I suppose there's probably pros and cons depending on what you... Not even necessarily what you want to achieve, but just what you prefer really at this stage, isn't it? By using like an overall colour over the whole thing, I like to call it a unifying blend. Because it's one colour that if it keys in with the other colours in the scheme, it brings them all together. Jeff does a perfect example of this when he's painting all of his like buildings for like Normandy, etc. Like like World War II stuff, where you'll paint everything within the sort of desaturated tones that you would expect to find in World War II Normandy villages, etc. And then there's often lots of like gritty greys and earthy browns and things that all kind of get put into a giant inky wash, put over the whole thing, over everything, and it just brings those all of those colours together, stops them all standing up really bright and garish, and brings them all together into one unifying thing. It is the drums to your concert, to your orchestra. Okay, that is looking a little bit smarter. That's better. Ace. My tiny little Martian man with a really stupid gun. I love it. Now, if I wanted to with this guy, I could come back in with a little bit of that silver and just sort of almost dry brush, I suppose. I might just do that just to bring some of those details out a little bit. Let me do that. What I'm going to do is just get a little bit of silver on the end of my brush here. I'm going to go against all of the proper concepts for dry brushing. I'm just going to wipe it off all my skin. Should have a little bit of silver paint in there, and I'm just gonna. Yeah, excellent. Just bring on some of those edges. I think I put on a slightly too dark a mix. The brush hadn't been properly cleaned that I was mixing it with, so it was a little bit stiff, and I wasn't able to calculate how much colour I'd had in the brush, how much water I had in the brush, so I didn't get a very good ratio. So I've got quite a dark mixture there. There we go. Excellent. I hate dry brushing. Oh, okay. Have a tasty beer. Why not? Sure. Chocolate and ale, by the way. Great mix. You should try it. Okay. So, the light area feels a bit weird to do this, but it needs to be painted black. So, black paint. Give it a shake. This is where I'm getting a little bit nervous, a bit apprehensive, because I know that I'm not going to do very well, but no, I'm going to ruin it, because that seems to be what I always do on the stage. Don't forget that the show does go on after the live show. So if you want to come and chat with me afterwards, you can actually join me on a video call if you want to, or just audio, or you can just type if you're nervous. Maybe you don't have a video, camera, maybe you don't have a microphone, want to type, whatever. You can come and join me on Discord at the Easy 8 After Party. Links to all of our platforms are just downstairs. Go and check it out. You can talk to me about ideas that you've had, where I could maybe do better. I would love to hear them. Please come and tell me. Come and share your success stories, or your stresses and failures. Maybe I can help you, maybe others can help you. Come and join me for a chit chat. Let's get drunk together. Or not get drunk together. You choose. Trying to lead a healthy culture here. This paint being an airbrush paint is very watery and is not holding the bristles of my brush together very well, and it is frustrating me. But it is going in there. If you could just stop embarrassing me. Thank you very much. Don't make me get a thicker paint. I don't want to have to go through the box of paints. Now, as I'm painting this, because this is about the 5th time that I would have tried this, there is a little bit of blue around the edge there, but that, I'm not going to go too crazy with it. At this stage, I'm just trying to get as best as I possibly can, within the reason of the fact that I failed so many times before. And to be honest, that little bit of blue will probably be lost in the overall effect anyway. I'm going to be putting white in there in a minute. I'm going to be putting blue on the top, so I'm not too fussed about that little bit around the edge. Oh, the silver on this side looks much better. Some splaying bristles, and it is doing my head in. Airbrush paints, not always good for doing detail work. Okay, so I've blackened off that whole area. Now, I've got these little bulbs on the side, and I want to make them look like they're glowing too, and I think that I need to do this in the opposite way with these. I think I need to paint those white, and then put a black wash on them, and then do them in the opposite way, because with the coils I want the deep ridges to be like light and bright, and the tops of them to be darker. But the bulbs, I don't want the inside bits to be bright, I want the outside bits to be bright, right? Right? Or do I want it that way? Because when they're together, they'll be shining on each other. This is my processing data face. Just do it the way that you know. Do it the normal way. Keep it all the same for now. You can always come back and try it a 17th time. I can see there's a backlog of comments going, and I want to catch up on those in just a second, but I want to make some progress here. Okay. Cool. Feels weird doing it the opposite way, like with black rather than white. So what I need to do is let that dry properly. And I don't want to have time for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Easy 8 Dry-O-Matic. Here we go. Hopefully the gain boost on the mic didn't make that sound terrible, because normally I shut the mic off for it, but last week you said it was okay. Okay, so I've now got a plasma rifle with a black coil on it, and I'm going to try and make it look real, because it's a real thing, right? The things that come out of my mouth. Okay. White ink. I chose to go with Liquitex. I heard a lot of good things about them. Really hard to get hold of. Maybe I just wasn't looking in the right places. Thanks to Kez for giving me these metal mixing balls, which I put into loads of my paints now. Hand waz. Kez says, after about 5 years, I finally picked up the next Battletech book in my collection and started reading it. Very pleased with myself. Ah, good for you, mate. Yeah, reading's good, right? Nice one, Kez. Congrats. I read a book once. Well done, Dad. Thanks, book 21 out of 63 from set 1. Good luck moving forwards, yeah, absolutely. Liquitex white ink is the best. What do you think makes it the best ink? I just picked it up, I heard a lot of good things about it. I do like working with it, it is fun, but what makes it the best in your eyes? Okay, so... oh, that was really tightly screwed on. At least I didn't embarrass myself by not being able to undo it. Hand was. So frothy. Okie dokie. So I'm just gonna pop in a couple of drops. Yeah, why not? Let's be frivolous. And I'm gonna get a couple of drops of thinner. Now, on the show, the Source, he doesn't use thinner. He uses Flow Improver. I've got a lot of thinner. I'm gonna use some thinner. I like Flow Improver for my airbrush. I'll use thinner for this. So I'm gonna put a couple of drops in here. going to start with 50-50 and see how that goes. Where's my brush? I will use... Seriously, what did I do with it? Oh, it's right there, the one in my hand. Brilliant. I think that could be runnier, frankly. It needs to be really, really thinned. Because I don't want it to filter in any way, really. I want it to simply run into the grooves and offer every raised surface so that gravity forces it into the recesses. Brush needs a very good clean. It's getting very stiff around the ferrules, and I don't like that because it's one of my very nice brushes. I probably didn't clean it out properly last week. Can confirm that is exactly what is the case. I can see it in there. Look at that. That is unacceptable. Ugh. Gross. Do you know what? I'm going to give it a clean now. That's unacceptable. Where's my cleaner? It's a very aggressive way of cleaning my brushes, but I don't have any brush soap and conditioner at the minute. I should absolutely get on that. Please remind me when we have finished the show. Christula says, I got a commission to paint a statue of Saint Celestine as marble for a display board. Liquitex white ink was instrumental to making that happen. Right out of the bottle it'll go through my airbrush. Yeah, I've heard that. It's the right consistency for airbrushing. Good. Sounds like it was a good success. So you're a commission painter, eh? Feel free to lend me any tips as we go. Right, I want my 000 brush for this. 000. And some beer. Booze. Drink response. But it can also be thinned down to help make the various subtle colours I use to give marble veins on the statue a sunken-in look. Ace. Well, I chose well then, didn't I? So, what I'm going to try and do is groove at a time, is drop some of this stuff in there. I could wipe it all over and hope that the viscosity that I've created, the thinness, allows it to run into it, but you know, help it out a little bit. I've got a nice thin brush that I spent the money on. Let's see if I can get it to run in there. Oh, I can. Oh, isn't Liquitex ink so good? If I'm honest, it could go thinner. So I'm going to do it. So on the show, The Source, the guy was saying it's all about the prep, all about the setup. If you get all the early work done, that's probably a bit too thin there, isn't it? So you get all the early work done, and it's going to do it for you. Yeah, I think I've gone just a little bit too thin there. What I'm going to do is just wash the brush out, dry it off, and I'm just going to pick that up, hopefully with a dry brush, because I dried you right. actually quite a small miniature to be practicing on. He was actually practicing on quite a bigger miniature. And he was also using green, not blue. Or was he using blue? No, I think he's using green. Doesn't matter. It was green. He was using De La Rowney colours and Liquitex white. I'm going to have to go and neaten up some of these ridges. I clearly need a slightly steadier hand and a bit of practice making the right viscosity. I will be carrying this on over at Discord, so if you want to see how it goes, come and join me. You are welcome to. Gets chatty over Discord sometimes. Not the neatest, but you start somewhere, don't you? It's still better than all my other attempts so far. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit on the bulbs on the side there. Shiv says, saw someone use Liquitex to paint a Blood Angel and man, it looked gorgeous. Cool. Did you say booze or boobs? I like the both, but I said booze. I've misheard. You certainly misheard, sir. I'm not a commissioned painter. LOL, I wish. I just have some friends who like my work. That's nice, isn't it? I mostly do trades for other hobby stuff I don't have time for, or for models. Cool. That was too much in one go. So I think we can all see what I'm trying to do with the bulbs here is just create a little bit of variation on them, because they would actually just be giving out light like no one's business, wouldn't they? If they were actually like bulbs. So I'm just going to leave them like that. Hopefully they'll dry with a nice sort of shape. And there'll be like a nice little glow effect on them. That'll look quite nice. The coils could be a little bit neater. So I'm just going to go back in and just repaint a couple of the edges of them. But otherwise it's looking good in there. Video I saw said do a little line along the bottom, so I will. Gonna get all liney in there, have it. Check around the back. That's a little thin there. I think I've over-thinned it, to be honest. Only by a fraction. Because it is a little too runny now, and it should have the opacity to get this quite neatly in one coat. But I don't think that's really I'm doing it wrong sort of thing. I think that's I just need practice at the application of it. But I'm happy really to give that a go, I think. So, gonna let that dry. And yeah, I'm gonna agitate it with the hairdryer. I think it just needs to sit there for a minute really. Agitate it with a hairdryer, and then I'm gonna come in with the blue. Needs a jolly good shake, clearly. And I think I'm going to thin this down because the gentleman who I saw do this used De La Rowney luminous green, like an emerald colour. Very nice colour. I want blue. He mixed it down with some flow improver and put it in the airbrush, and it just helped like a really thin layer come out, because you don't want to go in and saturate too heavily. You don't want it to cover over the black and the white and any of the surrounding colours. You want it to be a really subtle effect. This is also a transparent one. Can we see where it says transparent? It says transparent right here somewhere. Trust me, it says transparent. Both the magenta one and the blue one here are both transparent, but this one here is opaque, so this one's going to have thinness to the colour, I suppose. So yeah, let's get this bad boy on the hairdryer. Sorry, the Easy 8 Dry-Matic. Could try not blow all the wet ink all over the place, because it is still quite loose on there. Here we go. We're very close to being dry there. Needs a little bit more, just give it a bit of space. Now, something that I could do is do some like overspray of white in these areas here where the light would bounce off of. Now, the guy who I saw painting is on, again, just for your own benefit, is The Source, a great channel. He did a little bit of overspray in some of these areas, and it hit like with a heavier mixture of white ink on some of the hard edges, like on some of the corners and creases and things. He was practicing on a Space Marine model. For those of you that haven't seen a Space Marine model before, they're quite a bit bigger nowadays, and they've got very clean, large, flat surfaces with some nice, easily defined edges. This is a very busy and small, tightly packed model, and at this stage, all I want to do is get this little bit here right. I want to make sure that I can make this look like it's got a glow. I want to make sure there's light in there, and then when I've done that maybe a couple of times, then I'll start doing overspill, and that's really what OSL is. What I'm doing here is a glow effect, essentially. OSL is object source lighting. There is the source object is a light, and it is spilling out onto other things and bouncing off of things, and I feel that is stage 2 of my learning process. First of all, let's dial in this and get this right. So that's my plan. And once I've done this with blue, I'm going to do this one with purple. And that's a nice colour, I like purple. I don't do much with purple, so I really wanted to make that kind of nice and stand out. Okay, one more go with the hairdryer. AZ8 Dry-Matic. Gotta start calling it what it is. I think we're ready to go. It's a bit scary, isn't it? Right, let's charge up the old compressor. Let's get a spray sheet in here. I'm really sorry about the exposure levels on the camera. I really want to buy a new camera, but you know, I crashed my car. In case you didn't know. Right, this should be shaking up loads. Much easier to open than the white one. Such a beautiful colour, I do like this. Okay. We're all good there. It smells a little bit oily from the fixer that I was using earlier on, but that's okay. Right, I'm going to put in 2 drops of paint, or ink, shall I say. 1 and 2. That'll be that for now. We'll come back to that if we need to. Got it in the bottom in there. Lovely. I've now got some flow improver, and I'm going to mix this down 50-50. So I've put in 2 drops there. I'm going to put in 2 drops of this. 1 and 2. Now it is a transparent paint anyway, so I don't think I'll need to do too much. I just want to make sure that it comes out nice and thin. Just going to mix that around in a hopper. It is looking thin in there. That's quite nice. Okay, cool. And I've got to do real controlled, small precision spraying, which I'm not that good at. So we'll see how this goes. Let's see how intense this is. Can you all see that? That's quite clear to me. I don't know what it's like on your screens. It's a beautiful colour. Okay, so, oops, throw it on the ground. The lightest sprays now, please. Just trying to practice getting the right sort of quantity coming out. It's kind of working. With a little bit of practice, I'll get better at this, I suppose. I'm wondering if I needed to actually thin it down, because the colour should be starting to cover over the black a little bit. So it might need to take a couple of coats so that we start to see saturation of colour on the black bits, and it will come out darker. And then I can re-establish some white back into the blue areas, thin down again, and then come back in with another go. So that it's not so black and blue, it should be, you know, different tones of blue, essentially. We're getting there. It's better than it was earlier. It is better by far. And that's okay. So what I think I'll do in a minute is I will throw it in the bin and start again. That's a part of me that wants to... what I really want to do there is just start again. Because when it doesn't work the first time, frustrating, right? I think that those black bits are too black, so ways that I could combat that is actually filter them when I'm using the ink, where I was trying to get it perfectly between the grooves earlier on, so I had clear black and white, is actually make them slightly, you know, inked. Or don't thin this at all and just see the difference that it makes. So what I think I'll do is, I'll try that now. I'll just try to make sure that I'm covering all the areas that I want to cover here. So just underneath. Just all those white areas. It's coming a little bit thin there, you see. You can see it kind of running a little. It's a nice colour though. It's really nice. Thinking about it, I'm wondering if the guy did like a little misting of white. Just going to agitate that with some fresh air. Let that dry for a minute, and carry on over Discord, I think, because it's the end of the show, really, and we'd be going on for longer than we normally do, apart from last week where I ruined everything. So, yeah. Anyway, look, we're done here. So, a success and a work in progress. Better progress than I've had in the past with this idea. I think I do need to put a misty sort of white airbrush thing over the top of the black and white ridges to help blend those blacks down, because that black is really, really strong coming through that glow effect, and I don't want it to be. I'm closer than I have been in the past with this, so going to keep on pushing on, and I'm going to be pushing on over at Discord if you want to join me this evening. Looking at the purple one, I think we're going to be very, very similar there. I need to kind of finish up neatening up the gun on that one, but I think it will work in the same way. Because they're a transparent ink and not an opaque one like the white, it's struggling to have the opacity to cover the black there. And where it is doing it, it's just looking a little bit heavy. I'll keep on working on it, and hopefully I will learn. I will get better and better. I really want these fluorescent colours to work because they're really pretty colours. Such a lovely blue. Anyway, that is enough from me this week. I hope you guys have had a productive evening. I hope you guys have got loads of stuff done. And if you want to take photos of the stuff that you have done, you can put them up on Facebook. You can put them up on Discord so that everyone can see. I would love to see some of your stuff and where you are with it all. Just so come and share the love. And yeah, show me your pictures. Don't know where I'm going with this conversation. I'm just... mouth is open. There's no filter tonight. There hasn't been a filter in the live chat today. There's nothing here. I'm just going to have some more drink because clearly that's what I need. Anyway, I hope you guys have had a lovely evening. Thank you so much for coming along and keeping me company again. Your comments are always making me smile. And thanks for the extra subscriptions. We're getting subscribers during the show. That's really exciting. Thank you so much to everyone who's been a part of the show and supported it so far by subscribing, by thumbs up. If you haven't thumbs up this video, do it now. I'll wait. It's just down there. Go on, hit a thumbs up. Thanks very much. Love you too. Yeah, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment later on. Get involved in the live chat because any way in which we interact with every video really helps the algorithm. God bless the algorithm. It helps the algorithm gets Easy 8 out there into the world so that we can bring new people into the community. And what a community we've got so far, eh? So don't forget, if you're going to work or you're going to see some friends, go and share the word of Easy 8. Tell a friend, wear a t-shirt with it on there or something like that. I don't mind. Get them involved, bring them into a new hobby, or get Easy 8 out to the people that are already doing the hobby that don't know about it. Why not? Give it a go. And that's it for me this week. What I'm going to be doing over the next few days, while I've got a few days off, I'll probably put some pictures up. Maybe I'll put up like a little poll to see what sort of projects that you'd like to see next out of the stuff that I've got lined up on the workbench, etc. Having a lot of fun and success lately in finishing off old projects, but I've got some new projects on the side that will be really exciting to do. So let me know what you think when we get around to it. Thank you for the stream. Cheers, Danny Tass. Supply the merch. I've told you get me to 200 and I'll bring you the merch as well as the cats. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, I'm done here. So, until next week, stay safe, keep on painting, be kind, and I'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye. I messed up my own outro, like I've been saying that for 5 years. Stay safe, be kind, keep on painting. What's wrong with me today? Does anybody else want to come and do the show for me? Bye.